Okay, here we have on the next page a chance to practice the same idea. Before I let you go to practice it, though, there are a couple things that are actually missing in the document. This second piece of this piecewise function, notice here's a piecewise function, is missing part of its inequality. It should say less than 1 to make that an inequality that says you're using the x values between -1, including -1, and all the way up to 1. Notice here you have a piece where you're given a value at exactly one single point. And here again we're missing our second inequality. It should be less than or equal to 2. Okay, so correct those. And then I want you to try this whole next set of problems from 20 to 31. Okay, again, pause the video so that the students can take time to work on this. When they're ready, start it back up. Okay, hopefully we've got those completed. Here are the answers for that section. Take a minute and check your answers. Okay, go ahead and pause the video again, and if students have questions, have them work together to try and figure out what their discrepancies might be, assuming hopefully mine don't have mistakes. I think it's correct. Okay, welcome back. We're going to look at the last part of finding our limits. So all this problems we've been doing so far is looking at the value of limits graphically. Now we're going to look at our limits numerically. So we have a function, and we want to find the value of that function without using our calculator. Now we've done this before, but we used our calculator. Now we're going to do it without technically using our calculator, though we will still do it with some computations. Okay. I want you to, we're looking here, the limit as x approaches 2 for this particular function. Sorry, I wanted to grab my calculator, so now I'm back. Notice that we can't have 2. It doesn't approach, we can't have the value 2. 2 would make it undefined. That is one of our asymptotes. So normally we would graph it and look at it. But we're going to avoid our graphing screen. We'll go ahead and use our calculator to do computations, but we're not going to use the graphing screen of our calculator. What we're going to do is look at approaching the value 2 from the left side and the right side. Meaning, from the left side, we're talking about values of x that are smaller than 2. And we're going to get closer and closer to 2. So here we start with 1.9. That's a little smaller than 2. We get a little closer to 2 by 1.99. We get even a little closer to 2 by 1.999. We can choose how we want to configure those decimals, but we want to get closer and closer and closer to 2. And so we're going to put those values into our calculator. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see this. Try and adjust. There we go. All right, so I'm putting 1.9 in my calculator. It starts with a whole numerator, so I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses to start my numerator. And then I need 1.9 squared. Then we have minus 3 times 1.9. And then we have plus 2. And then we want to divide that by the quantity. So put parentheses again, 1.9 minus 2. So we're not actually putting 2 in. 2 is undefined, but we're going to put in values that are close to 2. We put in 1.9 here. We hit enter, and we get 0.9. So we'll put 0.9 into our table for 1.9. Okay, now we're going to do this again. Sorry, I have to shadow it in order to make my calculator show up. Shortcut, second enter. Now I want to adjust all these. I want to have them not 1.9 but 1.99s. So here it allowed me to insert it in. If I put in the arrow there, I'm going to put a 9. This next one, in order to put another 9 in, I have to second delete, gets me to insert. And then I want to put in another 9. And then scrolling over our last 1.9, again I want to insert another 9. Okay, we hit enter. And we get 0.99 this time. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to try and do the 1.999. Okay, hopefully that went well and you're able to change your calculator without having to retype it. If you have to retype it, that's not a problem, but it's just a little quicker. We get 0.999. We kind of see the pattern. Now I want you to enter in 2.001, find the value, do the same thing for these last three. So go ahead and take a moment to find those. Go ahead and pause the video so that the students can take the minute to do that. Okay, hopefully we've calculated those three values. You should have 1.001, 1.01, and 1.1. Looking to see what value we're approaching from both sides. That was a decimal and I didn't write it down. 0.9, 0.99, that's a little bit bigger. 0.999, that's getting even bigger. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to, hopefully you see the value 1. We're getting closer to 1 from values that are a little smaller than it, so it's coming up to 1. Here, if I go again, approaching 2, so moving from something bigger to something closer to 2, closer to 2. So 1.1, 1.01, 1.001 is getting closer and closer again to the value 1. So this limit exists, and the limit is 1. Okay, I want you to, before I let you go to try the next three, I want you to make one change. This one here has a typo. It should say 2, let's see how this is working. 2/3, 2/5,